Let's move to a very exciting playoffs, in my opinion. No one could have predicted where we're at with the Knicks up 3-1. Clearly going to close this out. Jason Tatum looks like he tore his Achilles. The Celtics are cooked. The Indiana Pacers up 3-1 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's going to be tougher to close out, but up 3-1, and I'm someone that's always believed Rick Carlisle is the best coach in the NBA. People just don't realize it. But is this a potential disaster scenario for the NBA if somehow the New York Knicks don't make it to the NBA Finals? There's not, with Boston out, the Lakers obviously out. You could have an NBA Finals with the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Holy cow. And I get that SGA and Tyrese Halliburton are nice young stars, but you're talking about Indianapolis and Oklahoma City. Are we looking at a doomsday scenario for the NBA Finals if the Knicks don't make it?
Oh, there's no question about it, Jason. And this is what the NBA has been dreaming of for years. They want parity. Typically going into the NBA season, you can generally, select two, maybe three teams that have a viable shot at winning a championship. This playoff run has been the most unpredictable of my lifetime. You've got the three by far top favorites, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are, look, they regular season wise, Jason, they were the best regular season team ever by various advanced metrics. Simple rating system, they broke the 95 Chicago Bulls 72 win team's record. In terms of net differential, they broke the 71 Milwaukee Bucks record, and they shattered these marks, Jason. So the Thunder were a substantial favorite to win the championship. They were 12 minutes away from being down 3-1 to Denver, a team that fired its coach and general manager 6 days before the playoffs began. That was the reality we were facing down at the end of the third quarter in that game 4 with the Nuggets up 6. Now the Thunder ultimately even it up. It looks like they will escape this series, but we were close maybe to them being eliminated along with the Celtics and the Cavaliers in the same round, which would be the second round of the playoffs. Absolute lunacy and madness breaking out. And yeah, this is worst case scenario, doomsday situation here for DEFCON, whatever, whichever DEFCON is worse, Jason. I don't know if it's 1 or 5, but we are at like critical mass DEFCON range here for the NBA because, I mean, if even just the next round, Knicks Pacers is such a letdown from this collision course we've been led to believe we were heading towards with the Celtics and the Cavaliers, two 60-plus win teams. They're both out. You mentioned the Tatum injury, but Cleveland's very banged up too. Donovan Mitchell is a game-time decision tonight, and they were missing, Mobley and Garland for half of this series. And Hunter, one of their key reserves, was also missed a game or two. So they're really banged up. They both are down 3-1. It's over. So, I mean, obviously the NBA wanted Golden State or the Lakers, one of the two in the West Finals. They're not going to get either. They wanted desperately Boston in there. They're out. So really, the Knicks are the only thing that could salvage this thing for them, getting into the NBA Finals. Even that's not going to be a highly watched series. You would guess now at this point. I would think that the Thunder are going to go in there ultimately to meet either the Knicks or Pacers. But that Knicks Pacers is a toss-up series. If it ultimately becomes Thunder Pacers, that could be the lowest watched NBA Finals ever. I think it would rival the 2020 bubble LeBron championship, which to date is the worst watched finals in league history. This year would be rivaling it, I believe, if we're talking about Thunder and Pacers in the finals. Ouch for Adam Silver in the NBA.
Scap, somewhat quickly, there is a scenario that I thought of today that, like, what if the Nuggets win this series against OKC and they end up in the NBA Finals and Nikola Jokic ends up winning another championship while potentially losing the MVP vote and firing their coach and general man? That would be an amazing story and would, if somehow the Nuggets found a way to win this championship, Nikola Jokic ends up in the top 5 discussion instantly, I think, if that were to happen.
I couldn't agree more with you, Jason. I think he's already a fringe top 10 player all time. And if he were to win this championship, it would be the most outrageous, audacious run that I personally have ever seen. You think about maybe the Mavericks in 2011. Of course, you've got the 2 runs by Hakeem, the 94 run, which was really insane with just Otis Thorpe as his other best player. But then the run in 95, even though they got Clyde Drexler at the deadline, with the path that he had to go through, even more ridiculous. But this one would be arguably the most ridiculous that we've seen ever, with the context added in of they fired Malone at the end of the regular season. They fired Calvin Booth literally with 6 days to go. 3 games left on the heels of a 4-game losing streak at the time. They looked like they were undeniably heading towards an early exit, maybe a 4 or 5 game a sweep or a gentleman's sweep in the first round against the Clippers, who the Clippers were playing great basketball when they collided with them in the first round. The Clippers actually were the #1 net rated team in the last month of the season. So that was a very difficult series. They go through game 7 there. And now if they get through the Thunder this round, it's going to be a 7th game series again against, what I just highlighted is the best regular season team ever, then more than likely a Minnesota team that has beaten them 6 straight dating back to last year's playoffs. If Nikola Jokic somehow goes through this field with this team on the heels of the way the regular season went and captures this championship, top 5. Yeah, I'm saying he is top 5 all time right now, and he would be only 30 years of age. So that would be quite an insane storyline. It looked, Jason, as I just highlighted, that we were almost there. Had they just held on in the 4th quarter to win that game on Mother's Day on Sunday, I think they would have prevailed in this series with that 3-1 lead. And ultimately, I think they would have, now the way the East is shaking out, gone on and captured that title.
Scap, final thought here. Michael Jordan is going to be some sort of contributor on NBC's NBA coverage next season. I was talking with TJ Moe this morning. He thinks it's a huge mistake that Michael is risking his legacy. Why? There's a mystery to Michael. He doesn't say much. Why subject yourself? Why come out of character and join the talking heads? My position is he's going to be a contributor. I don't think he's going to be some regular. I'm sure they're paying him $50 million to probably come on air once a month. And, now Michael's got his pocket change for his gambling addiction. And, his wife can't complain about it. He's, baby, look, this is just the pocket change NBC gives me, $50 million a year. That's what I'm blowing gambling. Quit complaining. I just don't see a way for him to say no. Do you have expectations that he'll do a good job as a broadcaster?
It's difficult to say or to quantify what is good. We're talking semantics here. Tom Brady obviously it has not been good in broadcasting since he left the field as the greatest player in that sports history. So I don't know if he'll be good or bad per se, but I think it will be highly entertaining. I know I will be hanging on any appearance that he makes. I think this is a brilliant move by NBC. NBC, who I grew up with NBC being the marquee platform for the NBA. They lost rights in 2002. Jordan retired in 2003. So NBC's been out of the game for about as long as Jordan has, because like you said, he has been very private and pretty much closed off from the public eye and certainly the NBA's eye. So this is a clever move, I think, by NBC. And really, doesn't everybody want to see what the GOAT, the real GOAT, the true one and only GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, what he has to say about this pitiful era and these players that have flushed his once great product down the toilet?